Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Neuro, and I'm here to show you about unit control in RTS. I'm going to go over the basic mechanics of how you control your units and your structures in ways that RTS games tend to do. I'm going to hide my camera for this so I can see the command card, so you can see the command card in this video. Boom, I'm invisible. The game usually starts with a town hall and some workers. One of the little details you can do is split your workers a little bit if it is such a game like StarCraft to make sure they start mining appropriately. Another thing that town halls tend to do is have rally features. Town hall structures and production structures you can rally to send attacking units or workers from one place to another. This is usually set by right-click in some way. And this can matter a lot when it comes to making saturation of your bases and defense of your bases much easier. So you see I have my main base here. I can do little things like say, hey, I want all the new drones that are born to try to mine from this patch next. So whenever these eggs spawn, if I didn't register a command to them, let's try it with these next two here, they should try to go to this patch first. Let's check the AI of this game. So they do. The rally point of the hatchery means the workers will first try to mine at that location before any other location. At a high level, you can manipulate this to make your saturation very efficient by doing things like individually rallying the next worker from one place to another, if you're Zerg, or individually rallying each town hall structure to their own respective closest mineral mining path. So you have buildings and you have rally points. Sure, that's one aspect of unit control. Another aspect of unit control is move command. You see how I have this green marking on the ground? That means the unit will move to that location at any cost, and it will stop for no reason unless it is killed or stunned. Move commanding means they won't attack anything in their way. Attack moving has a red indicator here, and it means that if any unit comes within the aggro radius of this, it will attack anything along the way. Move command and attack move. This might seem super trivial if you're someone who's played a lot of RTS, but there are a bunch of decisions that you have to make on the map between attack move and move command that can really make or break your match. Say, for example, this drone is a huge army. Just using a mental example here. If I move command toward my opponent and I accidentally run into my opponent's army on the midfield, I will receive lots of damage because say there's an army here that's shooting this army, and I'll lose a lot of health before I notice. So whenever you're moving on offense on the map, you want to make sure that your army is given an attack move command toward them like this, so that in case this army runs into anything else, it immediately starts to fight it. It immediately engages in combat and starts trading blows. So when you attack, this is very simple again, when you attack, you want to attack and then click. And then when you want to retreat, you actually want to move command a lot of the time. Because you don't want to let the stray units turn back and start fighting stuff because then they'll just be picked off. You want to salvage everything you can. So if you're full retreating, move command can be better than attack move at your opponent. Let's talk about another one of these in the command card. Hold position. Hold position is actually an insanely clutch ability that gives you control over a situation that your opponent is trying to control with aggression. So a lot of times there will be a Reaper. I'm going to make some lings here in a second. There will be a Reaper that's harassing your lings, and they want to bait your lings off of creep. What you can do is just, instead of attack clicking the Reaper, you can just hold position next to your workers, and the Reaper will shoot the lings, expecting them to chase, and then run back, and then they'll be in trouble. So hold position is really, really strong. Another key reason hold position is vital in RTS is for forming wall offs. I'm going to make a partial wall off here. Just making this wall off. Oops. There's also a return cargo command here. This is a small way to make sure I don't lose value of resources. If a worker is holding active resources, you can hit the hotkey for return cargo. And now I didn't waste those 5 minerals. In StarCraft, those 5 minerals would have been destroyed. Okay, so like I was saying, hold position. I want to put this queen in the wall, but say these are an enemy army. If an enemy army runs by the queen, and the queen is just resting here, like she's given no command other than move command, and they run like this, the queen will chase them out. Because the queen is an attacking unit, and if some enemy shows up, she wants to fight, unless she's told to hold. So in that case, an opponent will oftentimes bait your unit out of the wall. I do this against Protoss all the time. They'll have an adept in the wall, say this is an adept, and I run my lings by like this, and then the adept chases out, and then I run past the adept into their base. So that's wall discipline, what you could say, where you make sure you have hold position all the time. This is what it would look like if the adept was on hold position. My lings would run by like this. Even if they ran right up next to the adept wouldn't move because it's being told to just hold there no matter what. So hold position, extremely strong command. Another example of when hold position can be used for Zerg would be if you're defending a ZVZ cheese of some kind. Say they're doing like one base Ling Bane. You want to put 2 queens on the ramp like this and hold position. That means these walls of the ramp are not hurting your queens. Only the units in the front can attack, and the queens won't be baited out into the open in case the opponent retreats for a little bit. You're choosing to hold your ground at one particular spot, like the movie 300, and just stand your ground. So hold position is a lot stronger than you might suspect. My hotkeys are kind of custom and weird, so don't really worry about the hotkeys that I'm using. The main point is you should have all of these assigned to hotkeys that are comfortable for yourself to use. Okay, so we have move command, we have attack move, we have stop, which that's just kind of like a weaker hold position where you can tell them to stop, but then they could still be baited out in the wall, I think. Maybe they're the same in StarCraft. You should test it in whatever RTS game you're playing, because it might vary. In some games like Dota, stop doesn't mean the same thing as hold position. Stop just cancels what you're currently doing. So test that out for yourself. But then another key command here is patrol. Patrol is nice because it can allow you to fill vision in key areas and have a wider range of vision than just the one spot where the unit is standing. I haven't been focusing on macro at all during this, so let's just kind of inject stuff real quick so I have more tools to work with. Put the queen there, and then I hit hold position so she doesn't move, and then new lings show up. I have all my abilities hotkeyed. Okay. Like I was saying, these lings now, you see the circle of vision. Now the effective range of this ling's vision goes from here, like this spot here, all the way to this spot here, because it's patrolled. So patrolling can be just an additional way to cover a little bit more vision in terms of getting to catch, say, warp prisms, or banshees, or battle cruisers, or any army that's passing by. Having patrol can be really good for just filling a little bit more area of vision. Another thing you can do here, hold position, and now these lings will basically not move from this spot unless they are killed. They will fight anything that comes directly in melee with them. That's one of the nice things about hold position is it's an aggressive command. It's not a defensive command or a passive one. So we got hold position, patrol, move, and then now for some of the more advanced ones, we can do shift rally. Shift rallying stuff is super strong. It basically queues up a series of commands. So if I hold shift and then I click inject, creep, inject, they will now go and do all of those things to the best of their ability in order. And I don't need to touch any buttons. They did all of that in order because I shift rallied all of those commands. I can do a similar thing with these lings. Let's say I want these lings to do a run by, but I don't want to go down the direct center attack lane because my opponent would see it. Say my opponent is a Marine tank Terran and they're running down this area to go attack me, I can do this. Shift move, shift move, shift attack. Now my lings are going to run down kind of on the side of the map, following the move command that I gave them. I want them to run past Hellions and Bio and stuff just to be sneaky. And then now they're moving into the Terran's natural while they're trying to attack me with Bio Tank. And then once they get into the SCV line, they'll start attacking. So I'll demonstrate that again. Really simple maneuver. It doesn't really take that many clicks, but it is very powerful in being able to queue up things and get stuff done without you needing to look at it. It's kind of like getting your laundry done and getting your dishes in the dishwasher done and cooking something in the oven all at the same time. You can have a lot of processes running at the same time without needing to be physically looking at them the whole time they're working. So I'm looking at the mini map here. I have these links selected. Move command, move command, move command, shift attack. So they're going to attack like this. And I could also make another group of units and rally them here. So these lings are just going on their own. I don't even need to look at that. You can watch them on the mini-map, but they're going to get to my opponent without me needing to look at them ever again. Because I issued a rally command. Shift Q the lings. Okay, now let's look back at them, see how they're doing. Yep, they got all the way into the worker line before they started attacking. And these are the lings that I rallied across the map. So we've got shift Q commands, we've got rallies that we can do, attack, move, and hold. Another thing that's pretty important is shift clicking and control clicking. So if you want to shift click, that deselects some units. Let me get a smaller set of units so it's not too confusing. Here's 4 units, that's fine, that's all we need. Okay, if I want to shift click here in the command card, I'm holding down shift, that deselects one of each type until we have one left. So deselect to shift click. Say for example there's an overlord that's in this ling group and I don't want this overlord in here. I can shift click this out and then I can control click this group. So now we have the group without the overlord. I have this, I shift click it, and then control click it. And I remove this. I rebound the group. So control is create a new group. Shift would be to remove a unit if you shift click stuff. Another thing you can do is control click all the units on a screen. So if I control click the queens, it'll select all queens on my screen. Control click lings, it's all lings on my screen. So control clicking allows you to select large clumps of units basically, and shift click allows you to deselect key stuff. I'll show you another reason shift click is really strong. Let's say I have 12 drones in this selection group here and I want to fill my gases. I can go click all of them to here, click, click, click with shift, click this, click, click, click with shift, and then click back to this, and then return cargo. I messed it up slightly trying to do it slower than I normally do it. Let's just pull everything off and I'll demo that again. It's a really nice way to fill gases, where you can be a little bit sloppy and you can just correct it if you overbox. Like the ideal case would be you box 3 and then click, and you box 3 and then click. That's one way to do it. But another way to do it would be to have a larger clump and then you click, shift, click, 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 rally, shift, 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 and then send the rest back and then return cargo. So that's a nice way to fill gases. Shift clicking units if you have too many in the group or if you have units of the wrong type, like I had with the Ling and the Overlord. Maybe I don't want the Overlord in here. I can shift click and then control click and rebind. And then now another one is control shift click. Control shift and click removes all units of that type from the current selection. So now all the drones are removed. So let me select this again, send all of them back to mine, control shift click the drones, and then control rebind the lings. And now the drones go back to work and the lings are free. Another very fundamental thing in controlling units in RTS would be utilizing control groups. A lot of players are very limited because they only have the F2, which is select all army units control group, which means they basically always have to fight over who has the larger clump of units. And it needs to be one clump of units because they can't split things up. If you're wanting to be more dynamic with the way you can divide your forces, you can use steal commands where you take away units from a group and then hotkey them to control groups. So I have this group here, this is the 2 group. It's a spy. This group can run up here and then attack there with a shift rally. And then this group can attack over here. So these are in 2 separate groups. I can be attacking on the left and threatening on the right at the same time. This will make you a much more dangerous and dynamic player where you're not just trying to win the main fight with your army. You can actually pressure and retreat and be really active and dynamic on the map. So control groups is one that's very strong. We talked about moving and attacking. And I think that's most of the basics just for your unit management. Deselecting units of a certain type, selecting all units of a certain type on the screen, doing shift commands where you queue things up. We can make them move and then attack and then attack and then patrol. All kinds of cool stuff like that. And you basically want to break down what is the most ideal assignment for my army units in this case. And thinking about that in the replay can help too. It is pretty difficult mechanically just to control all of your keyboard and mouse stuff perfectly. You will make some mistakes, and having good mechanics relies on you basically assigning good groups, where the groups that you create are going to be good at doing their job. You set them up for success, and then you want to try to make the mechanics of the situation as easy for yourself as possible. So hotkeying as many things as you can, so you're using your keyboard hand and your mouse hand. And then another one of the main things that can be very strong is using the mini-map to click stuff. So I can actually just click down here. This isn't really managing a unit directly, but I'm managing the mini-map for vision. And I can move stuff if I ever lose track of things or accidentally remove stuff from my control group. The mini-map is a very powerful tool for just paying attention to the big picture of what's happening on the map and making sure your units are all behaving according to your plans. So yeah, this is basically the breakdown of all the different kinds of unit commands. If there are any that I didn't address in this breakdown, feel free to share and I can talk about it. But these are meant to be just the elementary fundamentals of RTS unit control. This is not advanced stuff, and this isn't really specific to Zerg per se. You're going to need to do all of these things regardless of what RTS game ends up being the hotness for you in the future. So thank you for watching, and thank you all for sponsoring this content by supporting Neuro Subathon 3. Big ups!